Hello and welcome to NPS Now, your source for news and information about Norfolk Public Schools. I'm your host, Karen Tanner, and it gives me great pleasure to introduce everybody to our new 2018 Teacher of the Year, Kellie Lowe of Poplar Halls Elementary School. Congratulations and welcome to NPS Now.
Thank you. Thank you.
We are so excited about you and your new win, representing our 54 schools and facilities. What an honor and a privilege. But first, how does it feel to be named Norfolk Public Schools Top Educator?
It feels great. It really does. I was among a lot of really great educators that night, so being chosen was truly an honor.
What went through your mind when she was reading information about you? Like, what were you thinking when she said those things?
I couldn't believe it was me. I really couldn't. I met a lot of really great people backstage before the ceremony, so I was shocked. But again, it's just a privilege to be chosen.
So tell me, when did you know it was you? What word or phrase said, okay, she's talking about me?
Honestly, it was when she talked about classroom being home, and that's when I really cued into what she was saying and thought, oh my goodness, I think that's me.
And see, I was behind you, so I couldn't see your face, so I was like, oh, I can't see her reaction. But you know, as you just mentioned, it was so many great educators, 54, they narrowed it down to 8, then down to 3. You know, why do you think that you were picked for this honor?
You know, teachers have a lot of stress every single day, and I really think that I'm successful in the classroom with being authentic with the kids. And a lot of times it's easy to get caught up in the paperwork of teaching, but we have to kind of step back and remember that we are educating our youth. And when you do that, you're able to really educate the student versus just delivering the curriculum, and I think that's kind of what I've been successful with in my classroom.
So what do you think you do in your classroom that made you stand out from among your peers? What is something unique that you think you do with your students?
Making the classroom feel like home. It has to be comfortable for me, first of all, but then once I think about little things that make me comfortable in my own home, I like to incorporate those things in the classroom too. And it really makes the kids feel comfortable and cozy and bright colors in the classroom. So those are a couple things.
That's what I was going to ask, to make it look like home, because you mentioned in your essay, a student says it's like I'm home.
Yes.
What are some of the things that you do to make it feel like home?
I have lighting, different types of lighting around the room, so I like to change things up during the day. If we're reading, we have like a cozy reading light, and I just recently got a rug, a carpet. It's beautiful carpet. It's very colorful, and it was from Donors Choose. So yes, so I remember one morning one of the kids came in and they love this carpet. It's really beautiful in the room, and he just laid down on the carpet that morning and said, oh, it's so cozy. So it's just little things like that that really make your classroom stand out.
And you want them to be comfortable
Yes.
and ready to engage in learning.
Absolutely.
So tell us about your teaching background, and where did you go to school, and how long have you been teaching?
I've been teaching for going on 9 years. So I started out at Mary Baldwin College, which formerly known as Mary Baldwin College. It's now Mary Baldwin University. Got my bachelor's there. Then after my bachelor's, I went for my master's at the same school, got my master's in education. And after that, I did a little bit of teaching in a little town called Churchville, Virginia, in Augusta County, spent a couple years there, then moved to Hampton Roads and taught at Chesapeake Bay Academy, which is a great school for kids with learning differences, and now I'm in Norfolk.
So when you were in high school, when did you get the desire to want to teach?
Well, I didn't go to high school. I actually was in a program that was called the Program for Exceptionally Gifted at Mary Baldwin, and so I started school at 15.
Wow.
At Mary Baldwin, yes, and graduated when I was 18.
Wow. So what do you love the most about teaching?
I love the kids, I really do, and it's not always about delivering a curriculum. It's not always about test scores. It's really about getting to know the students and understanding them and listening to the story that they bring to the classroom, because once you open up to the kids, they really begin to trust you, and that's when the magic happens in the classroom. That's the sweet spot. That's the secret.
One of your students, if I were to pull them to the side and say, how would you describe your teacher? What would they say?
I think they would say fun. A lot of the kids call me mom.
Really?
Yeah, and it was strange at first, but at the same time, it means that they're comfortable, and that makes all the difference in the classroom.
What would be your message to other teachers throughout your reign as Teacher of the Year? What would be your platform or your message to them?
Ooh. As I mentioned, teachers they have a lot of stress, and we have a tendency to get caught up in the test scores, in the behaviors that are happening in the classroom. There's so many things, and my message would probably be just step back from that and look at teaching as a larger picture, and make sure that you remember that we're educating our youth, and that is such an empowering thought to have. And so once we have our passion back, once we can see our passion again, we're able to voice our opinions and talk about changes that we feel are necessary. But we have to step back and remember that just showing up for the kids every day is making a difference, aside from everything else.
So what do your parents think about you going into education?
At my speech, at the ceremony, I had a lot of really raw emotions happening at that point, and so I was just shocked. And the first thing I thought about was how like I said, I went to school, to college at a very young age. I was making decisions for myself and my career and life really early on. They were very heavy decisions, what I wanted to do with my life. And so they were cautious. They wanted to make sure that what I chose was going to be what I was happy with for the rest of my life. And of course, you're pouring all this money into education and school, and you want a great return on your investment, which teaching is not really a great return, monetarily speaking. Of course, there's better returns.
But the benefits outweigh.
The benefits, absolutely. And so I think as the years have gone on, they've definitely seen my passion, and they're supportive. They always had my best interest at heart.
Great. Well, we are so proud of you, and congratulations.
Thank
we look
you.
forward to working with you and seeing more of you and hearing more things that you want to share.
Thank you.
Teaching. Great. And we want you to stay tuned for more NPS Now. Welcome back to NPS Now. We have two very special guests with us today, Meredith Hobson, who's the Senior Coordinator for Foreign Language, and Jolie, which I'm going to allow her to introduce herself in her Chinese name.
Hello everyone, my Chinese name is Mei Jiao Yin.
Exactly, and she is a Chinese teacher at the Academy for Discovery at Lakewood through the Confucius Institute. So welcome, ladies, to NPS Now.
Thank you.
And I'm glad we're going to share more information about what the Confucius Institute is. So Meredith, kind of tell us, what is the Institute and how does Norfolk Public Schools' involvement with this event?
Well, the Confucius Institute is an organization affiliated with the Ministry of Education in the People's Republic of China. And their goal is they partner with universities, especially, to build these cultural understandings, promote cultural awareness, particularly via language. So they offer these scholarly opportunities to promote language and culture in the United States. So we are fortunate that the Confucius Institute works with Old Dominion University. And so via ODU and their affiliation with the Confucius Institute have reached out to us and have for several years now offered Chinese teachers to teach Chinese in our schools.
So how many teachers are here from China and where are we teaching?
Well, currently we have 6 Chinese teachers. 5 of them come every 2 years from China, directly from China, and they are in 5 of our schools.
Wow.
Currently we have an offering at Larchmont Elementary School, the Academy for Discovery at Lakewood,
Yes.
the Academy of International Studies at Rosemont. This year we started it at Campostella, so we have some elementary and middle school offerings, and then at Granby High School.
Right. Tell me, Jolie, how did you get involved with the Confucius Institute, and why did you want to come to the United States to teach?
Confucius Institute aims to help students to study Chinese language, and my major is teaching Chinese as a second language. So I think it's a great opportunity for me to join this organization and accomplish my dream of being a Chinese teacher abroad.
Wow, we're glad to have you here.
Thank you.
Well, tell me a little bit about your educational background in China.
I have both a BA and MA in Chinese literature and Chinese language. And I went to teach Chinese in schools both in Thailand and Britain for 2 years. So through studying and teaching abroad, it deepens my passion in engaging with different cultures and building friendship as well.
So tell me, what exactly do you teach the students?
Basically, my teaching covers all the subjects: speaking, writing, and cultural activities. Most of my students, they love it, everything I'm teaching.
So also, this is one of my questions. So you do speaking, writing, characters, history, and culture. How is that? How are they adapting or enjoying that type of lesson?
Actually, I'm much surprised my students, they love writing characters and actual activities most. Because writing characters, they have lots of strokes. And each character, the stroke is different, and the order also different. But they love it, they enjoyed it. They kept on saying, "Listen, that's so cool," and I'm proud of them. And also, I taught them to play Tai Chi Fan and Chinese calligraphy and painting anymore. But yeah, they love it. They are doing a great job. And they also begged me to take them to China soon.
Of course. And Meredith, why is it important for our students to be able to have this type of exposure and opportunities?
Well, to start, certainly China is one of our major trading partners. I mean, and its sheer size and the amount of people. I mean, there's 875 million, I think, at last check, Chinese speakers in the world. And so for that reason, just from an economic standpoint, it helps our kids to have an edge up in the career world and trading. But also, we know that it impacts kids, to have other global perspectives and to have these experiences. And so we really, really are grateful to ODU and the teachers, this crop especially. I mean, again, they have their degrees are in Chinese language and Chinese literature and culture, and they've been great ambassadors for our kids, to share this. So we really appreciate it.
What do you think, Jolie, is the difference, or is there a difference between the American and Chinese classes that you've been teaching in?
I think the biggest difference between American schools and Chinese schools is classroom management. In American schools, the class have many rules, and the role of teacher is to encourage the students to be more creative. We are quite the opposite in China, because the Chinese education system is exam-oriented. So that's why we have a popular saying in Chinese: examination is teacher's magic power, while grade is student's life. So most of the students work very hard to get higher grade and pass the exam. Yes.
So what do you want your students here in America to get out of this experience in your classroom?
Well, I hope my students can speak Chinese well, and on top of that, they will discover more about culture. And basically, the Chinese language is just a communication tool, but learning about another culture will widen our horizon and keep the world together.
And so, Meredith, what does the future look like for these type of classes within NPS?
Well, we are continuing to grow. We've gotten excellent positive responses and feedback from parents and a lot of principals. In fact, I've gotten several emails over the last month or so when we're looking at our allocations for next year asking for more Chinese. We do want to expand it further into the high schools. We want more high school offerings. And in fact, I think we're sending one of our Chinese teachers this summer to the AP Institute, so that they're certified and qualified to teach an advanced placement course in Chinese.
Oh, wow.
And really, what we've learned too is as long as there is a need from us, we can request more teachers. So we're hoping that partnership just grows and continues, so that we can offer it, and it'd be great if we offered it in all schools.
Great exposure and opportunities for the students. Jolie, are you teaching Mandarin?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, great. And I want to know, what do you think you'll take away from this experience back to China?
First of all, I think it's a great opportunity for me to experience and understand the cross-cultural communications. and it shapes my personality in a more open way. And I learned a lot from Americans. I become more creative, more confident, and I made a lot of friends.
Oh, great.
Yeah, and second, I think the concept of American education is quite outstanding. And that's no simple right or wrong. It pushes an individual to think outside the box. So I love this nation, I love the culture, and I treasure every single moment of it.
Oh, great. We are glad you're having an awesome experience here, and our students are having that same awesome experience learning Mandarin in your classroom. So this is great, Meredith. We thank you both for coming on the show to talk about the Confucius Institute and your experiences at the Academy for Discovery at Lakewood. Thank you both.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And we want you to stay tuned for more NPS Now. Welcome back to NPS Now. I have another special guest with us here today, Yair Gomez-Ortiz, who's a senior at Norview High School, and we want to tell you congratulations for being the second Gates Scholar here in Norfolk Public Schools this year. Welcome to NPS Now.
Thank you for having me. It's a real pleasure to be here.
Yes, it is, and I'm so glad to have you here so we can talk to you and folks can know a little bit more about you. So first, tell me a little bit of your background with school. Have you always gone to Norfolk schools, or what particular schools did you attend?
So I've typically attended like schools in the 757 area, but I've been at Norfolk Public Schools for about 6 years since fifth grade, and so I've gone to Coleman Place, which was my last year. And then from there, I went to the Young Scholars program at Ruffner, and from there, I applied to the LCSC program at Norview, and that's where I'm currently attending.
Go Pilots, right?
Yes.
Are you involved in any extracurricular activities?
So throughout high school, I've been involved in the varsity swim team, and I've done 3 years of varsity tennis as well. This last year, I also took up Scholastic Bowl, which I didn't hear about until last year, and so I decided to do it this year as well.
Wow, well, I know Norview High School has had several Gates Millennial Scholars come through there. How did you first hear about the Gates Scholar opportunity?
So I first heard about it because I think when I was a freshman, there was another recipient of the Gates Millennium. And so I knew about the Gates Millennium and how the Gates Millennium covered 10 years, I think, of paid school. But what happened is the last year was 2 years ago, and so they took kind of like a gap year last year in which they didn't really offer a huge scholarship, and then this year they started with the first new just general Gates scholarship. And I found out through this summer program that I went to last summer called LEADA. It stands for Leadership Enterprise for a Diverse America, and it's a 2-month program held at Princeton University's campus. And they kind of help with sort of the college application process and things of that sort. And so through word of mouth there, because all those all those students there are also looking for these scholarships, I heard that they had restarted the Gates Scholarship, and then from there I decided to look more into it. And
did you know some of the Gates Scholar winners from your school?
From
Norview?
No, I didn't know them personally, but I did, you always hear about them, and I always thought, that's insane, especially as a small freshman. I was thinking, that's insane. These people are, insanely smart.
But it's doable, as you see.
Yeah, but now I see that it's doable, and I'm honestly shocked at receiving it.
Yeah, so what are your plans following graduation, and how will this Gates Scholar opportunity assist your education?
So I plan to attend Stanford University, and what the Gates Scholarship allows me to do is essentially not have to worry for any financial costs of attending Stanford, especially a place like Stanford. The cost of attendance is really high because it's a private top league school, and so one thing that was mainly sort of in the back of my head was having to do work study as well as also having to attend college. Trying to be able to find ways to make money, either to pay for college or to just have in general. But now with the Gates Scholarship, it's another thing that I don't have to worry about. You know what I mean?
Exactly, and that's a good thing. So how has the LCSC program shaped your academic career?
The LCSC program helped shape my academic career by allowing me to take several classes that I'm interested in. Specifically, since the LCC program is more tailored towards engineering and mathematics and things of that sort, which is my interest. I could take more specialized classes like physics, calculus, and they offer several other science classes that I also have taken as well, and it's just allowed me to specialize my education to be able to show my passion throughout like the college application process as well.
Okay, so talking about the process, how was that Gates Scholar process? How intensive was it?
So the application opened, I think, sometime in July. The first phase ended in September, so it was definitely almost a half-year-long process through which, the first portion is just this really long, just general application, filling out every single information about you, your financial background, and all the things you're involved in as well. And then from there, you move on to phase 2, in which you submit the 4 essays that they asked for, and then from there you're selected as a finalist, or no, you move on to the finalist interview, and then after the interview, you essentially just wait for the decision, which was 2 weeks ago. Yeah,
wow.
2 Fridays ago.
And there are only 300 Gates Scholars nationwide, and you and Isaiah are one of the two from here from Norfolk Public Schools, and that's just great. So how did you feel when you found out you were selected? I mean,
it was a complete shock because the day that I found out, I was actually visiting the University of Richmond, and I kind of had my mind off of it, and out of nowhere, I get the email and I look at my phone, and it's just like I was in a relaxed mood, and then out of nowhere, I'm just really excited because out of 27,000 applicants, only 300 chosen, so that's roughly almost like a little over 1% acceptance rate.
So why do you think you were picked?
I think the one thing that I tried to convey the most throughout my essays, and I guess throughout the general application, was my involvement within the community. I've tried to mostly not just to do volunteering because it was a requirement for LCSC, but because I find genuine enjoyment through it. And I just enjoy helping, especially younger students as well. So like I'm a co-director for the Lakewood Orientation Camp. I've served as a counselor for the Norfolk Summer Leadership Camp, and it's just a lot of experiences that I have just helping the community in general, and I feel that was a very strong point that I had on my application.
That's great. So we've talked about your participation with LCSC. How do you think Norfolk Public Schools has prepared you for life after high school?
I think it definitely helps set a strong sort of foundation for the knowledge that I have, and for really just the entire applications that I have with not just schools, scholarships, and it allowed me to, generate more experiences and more, not just academic knowledge, but sort of like life experience as well, that I feel would definitely assist me in wherever I go, especially moving all the way to the West Coast.
And before college starts, you have an opportunity to go to an institute in Dallas. So tell me about that. What are you expecting?
I honestly don't know what to expect, but I feel like it's going to be very, a great experience having to, being able to meet the 300 other scholars that also, receive a scholarship, and, see how motivated those people are as well, and to notice that, I'm not the only person that's out here trying to, I guess make something out of themselves, you know what I mean? And so I'm honestly just really excited to meet them.
And Norfolk Public Schools, we're very proud of you and Isaiah. So congratulations to you again.
Thank you.
For this honor, and then also for when you attend college at Stanford, which you're representing today.
Yes,
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
And we want to thank you for watching NPS Now. It airs weekly on WNPS Channel 47, or you can view us online at www.npsk12.com. If you have any great story ideas or information you'd like to share, email us at nps_news@npsk12.com. Again, we want to thank you for watching NPS Now.